Slight difference there.
I loved the beginning to Night Court. It was like one of the best theme songs.
Wasn't Kevin Conroy in Night Court?
There's a whole bunch of people that were on Night Court.
Brent Spiner.
One of his greatest roles. Hey, there is nothing on screen.
Does not appear to be, but it's black. It shows we're
should be.
live.
Hey, look, there we go. Bow, 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 bow. But we are live.
We're sorry for this.
Today's episode of the Geek EZ is brought to you by whiny people who want to boycott movies and think that it's actually going to make a difference.
I'm gonna boycott Deadpool.
No one would say that, though.
Yeah, really. I mean, especially after the last, thing they put out, that fantastic music video with Celine Dion.
I have not watched that yet.
Oh my God, you should have.
The problem with boycotting Deadpool is if a group publicly made that statement, within a day and a half, Ryan Reynolds would be in costume with a fully done video ridiculing the crap out of them.
Sure. And what's really funny is, let's do the opener and we'll be back and we'll keep talking about this. Because I'm only bringing this up just because it was the follow-up to a video that Alistair showed us. It was one of those, hey, watch this now. So I watched the first 5 minutes of it, and the guy made me sick, so I had to stop. But we're going to open, and we'll be right back.
The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. The opinions expressed do not reflect this station or any affiliated partners. Listener discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Geek EZ.
One of these days I'll get around to finishing that.
Yeah, it's about as, filled in as, the rest of the things we do. We're all a little half-baked here.
Got some monstrously half-baked stuff going on. A whole lot of stuff like half done or 3/4 done. Right, Alistair?
Eh?
Poor Alistair. He's so patient. He knows where I live, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, but it doesn't do him much good. He can't really get you right now.
That's true.
You are
okay.
safe.
I can make an excuse to go visit my family.
Back to the subject at hand. The subject I started. Kermit the Frog here. Back to those really little whiny internet fanboy whatever. I see I'm using the term derogatory now, but it started, whether it's the DC people, we're going to boycott the DC movies because they suck and DC needs to go away, or you got the people who are boycotting Star Wars because Kathleen Kennedy is a horrible person and she's making Star Wars suck and blah, blah, blah. I was like, do you not remember 20 years ago when The Phantom Menace came out? Oh, that's right. None of you were born yet.
Side note.
Kermit hates Kathleen Kennedy?
No, I don't think Kermit hates him. Kermit's under the same umbrella, dude. I highly doubt that Kermit the Frog.
Well, you were doing the Kermit voice for the guy who was talking about Kathleen Kennedy.
Well, I don't know.
On that same note, apparently, because I moderate over a group on DeviantArt called Star Wars Fan Club.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people will put images in there that are ripping on Kathleen Kennedy. I was like, nope, that's got to go. I always remove them. And I will continue to do so because that is attacking somebody.
It is attacking somebody. But the idea that Kathleen Kennedy, who was handpicked by George Lucas, who has literally been in the Star Wars Lucasfilm cadre of people since almost its inception, so she's trying to diversify a bit. I understand that because it really has been a guys-only club for a long time, and she's trying to get a bigger audience.
It's working.
It's working. My daughter loves the Star Wars cartoons that are out there now. Actually, all my kids do. They all watch them. The Forces of Destiny cartoon. All my kids watch Rebels. They really enjoyed Rebels. And you know what? It's awesome that Rebels had a split cast. It had female and male characters. Everyone could try to identify with somebody. When you watch Star Wars, there's one black dude, one woman, and the rest is all dudes. So she mixed it up a little bit. What's the big deal? These guys are losing their minds. Seriously, either you need to address your issues you have with women, or just shut up.
I'm hoping for the latter.
Yes, me too. Because, I mean...
They make the rest of us look bad.
They do. I mean, there are times... Now, I'm not going to say that there aren't people who come at the guys. I mean, it does happen. There are people out there who don't like men. And you know what? More power to them. It's a free country. They're allowed freedom of speech, First Amendment. It's all good. But when you outright go and try to tell everybody else that they need to boycott a film or something because you don't like it, that's just about, I mean, and then the idea that that your boycott is going to make a big difference when you're looking at a multi-billion-dollar franchise. I really don't think that 15,000 people out of the 9 billion people on this planet is going to make a difference. It's a spit in the bucket. And yes, I'm salty about this. I'm salty because it's what's the word? It's so negative. Everything's negative. It's always negative. Now, were we negative towards the Marvel movie? Yes, we were slightly. But we weren't. Not to that point. Not to the point we're telling people not to go see it. I don't think we've ever done that, except unless it's like a U-Bowl movie.
Well, that's kind of fair, though.
Yeah, that's true. Or maybe an Avatar movie or something. It's me and Tank the only guys in here? Don't be snoring. There's no snoring.
So,
Hey, where do you
evil
keep the
scientists
beer
are
at?
real.
The what?
Where do you keep the blue milk at?
I don't know, but we got some green milk in the boobs over there.
Evil mad scientists are real.
Why? What's going on?
They trained a spider to jump on command.
Well, I saw the fish that jump on command, but I honestly think that was faked. You can make fish jump out of water by electrifying the water.
I don't know, but the last thing the world needs is trained attack spiders.
Well, I've got one better than that. On the mad scientist aspect. Today, I saw on Facebook, and I watched the video, and it was really creepy, that Google's AI, it's their assistant, as they are calling it, that's in their phones and whatever, will now make phone calls in real time with companies and stuff to make appointments for you that understands the nuances of conversational speech and will actually carry on a conversation without sounding like it's a computer. It was downright disturbing. They did a phone call to a hair salon in real time in the video, where they told the assistant they needed a haircut or a hair appointment between 10 and 12 on a certain date, and then they said, now we're going to listen into the phone call. And the phone rang, and they answered, the hair salon answered, and the assistant, sounding very much like a human being, said, hi, I need to make an appointment for my client and I don't remember the date, and the woman got on there and says, I have a 1 o'clock, a 1:30, and then the assistant, the thing goes, oh no, she goes, can you hold on? The assistant goes, just like that. And then she's like, thanks for holding. Oh, no problem. And this guy, I mean, it was a conversation.
Which is going to be problematic because that's going to make it more difficult to avoid telemarketers.
Yes, it's going to be extremely difficult to do that. But Google...
And also, do you want Skynet? Because this is how we get
exactly.
Skynet.
Google is inventing Skynet. If we've seen this movie, we know how it ends. It sounds like this. Dun, 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 dun. It's bad.
Google can't invent Skynet. Skynet's already a thing with the UK.
That's true.
It'll be off-brand Skynet.
Off-brand Skynet. No frills Skynet.
I don't know about no frills. Is more restrictions.
It was, while fascinating, it is exactly what Stephen Hawking was warning us about. he was very adamant about not developing artificial intelligence, saying it would be a bad thing to do. And when you get to this point where where you are unable to distinguish it from a human being, like Siri and the assistants and Cortana and all of them, you can tell it's a computer. You know it's a computer. When it is able to carry on a conversation, I mean, it's like having a gray parrot in your phone. I wonder what its vocabulary is. And all like, it's freaky, man. And then everybody's applauding and excited. I'm like, no. No, next comes like, oh, and then we're gonna teach it how to fight. No.
Well, for it to get to that point, they actually need to get cybernetics up and running.
Well, I don't think
it just control drones.
Yeah, when you actually think about this, that it is already constantly connected to the internet. It has the wealth of information, basically the entire world's worth of information at its beck and call, and the ability to travel that route anywhere it wants to go. It's very, very scary.
It certainly has the potential to be very scary, just because of what it could lead into.
Yes, when you give it the ability to learn, which they do, these things have the ability to learn and adapt.
The way I can see the way that they would, upsell, they say something like, "Oh, well, this will help people who are busy instead of, when they don't have time to make their appointments and yada yada." It's like, you know what? You should just make your own damn appointment. If you're that busy, maybe you need to do something else. This is not going to increase your efficiency. It may sound like you are to make you more efficient for work or whatever, but it's just giving away. You're just literally giving away, your ability to do things. I mean, I'm all in favor of, like, in certain instances of automation and improving things, more efficient things.
Yeah. I mean, I love the fact that I can be driving down the road and I can just go, "Hey Siri, call my wife," and it dials my wife. That's kind of cool. But if I were to say, "Hey Siri, call my wife and tell her something," no, I don't want that.
Yeah, and I'm willing to bet that's what people are thinking. It's a lot more along those lines.
No.
Yeah, I'm not keen on it.
No, that's that kind of science, while fascinating, and the men behind it, I mean, yes, they are. It's technically genius, but sometimes the words of Ian and Malcolm ring true on that one. Just because you can do a thing doesn't mean you should.
You were so busy trying to make the thing, you didn't ask if you should.
Yes, that's the one. Yes. Who was it? Who actually? What's that quote? Who did that original quote? Now I'm all stuck in what's his name mode.
Not sure off the top of my head.
Just because
Jeff Goldblum
doesn't mean we can't do it.
Because I think that was may have been used in Jurassic Park.
It was, yeah, it was Jurassic Park, but the quote came from someplace else.
Oh, sure.
I know it was used in Star Trek 6. The president said, "Just because you can do a thing doesn't mean we must do a thing."
Yeah, you were so busy trying to do it, you didn't ask if you should.
Yeah.
Something to that effect.
It
And that's
almost
exactly it.
sounds like it could be an Oppenheimer quote, but I don't know.
I don't think it was Oppenheimer.
See, there are times I just wonder, it's like if some of the geniuses from the past, like Albert Einstein or Nikola Tesla, if they were alive today, what would they think of these guys? I bet you Tesla would be freaking out right now. And, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if Tesla would be freaking out. This is the same guy who was trying to, basically transmit electricity through the air and various other things. I mean,
His science was pretty sound on that.
he could do it. He did do it. But the point being is that I think he was actually in favor. He would probably be, in some respects, in favor of it, only if it was not in corporate hands. If it was actually something that would truly benefit all of humanity and be given to humanity. Tesla was big on that sort of thing.
Yeah, problem is that's
Problem is, we know who won that particular debate. That would be the guy who stole from him.
And killed an elephant.
I'm not sure where the elephant came in.
Edison.
Edison killed an elephant?
Yeah, on purpose to disprove Tesla, to show how dangerous his current was. Even though wasn't Edison a direct current guy?
Yeah, he was direct current, and in the end, he actually lost out.
Yeah, he
in
did.
that respect, because it did go to AC.
Well, once that they realized that, yeah, alternating current can actually travel faster and be manipulated better than direct current.
It was just more efficient.
Yes, Firefly, we should look out for people adding strange things to the Eiffel Tower, like a giant light bulb that doesn't need to be up there. That was the dumbest thing France could have done, was put that giant light at the top of the Eiffel Tower.
I wonder if Firefly might be referencing Red Alert 2, where you turn it into a Tesla coil.
Yes.
A giant Tesla coil, which, honestly, that was a lot of fun to do in the game.
Tesla's writings are fascinating.
I wonder how and this is an actual name of a charity, I wonder how the Let's Build a Goddamn Tesla Museum charity thing is going.
I don't know. You have to look it up.
Let's
Wow.
see here.
Twitch is telling me that we're not live. Even though I can see it and we're live.
It clearly says live, yeah.
Yeah. 1.21 gigawatts.
Well, the Indiegogo reached its goal some time ago.
2,000 volts coming up.
Ah.
I actually want to speak, since we were talking about Google Assistant,
Go ahead.
something interesting.
Go ahead.
Now, potentially a little TMI. I have some sort of eye infection going on right now.
Pink eye.
Haven't told anybody. Haven't Googled anything about it because I know what it is and I know it's just going to go away after time. I just got to keep taking Tylenol and stuff like that. But I've talked about it in front of my phone to my grandparents. Today, a pink eye treatment ad on Facebook appeared.
Oh, dude, and you're just now getting to realize this?
No, it's just a lovely example. Like a couple, not quite last year, maybe last year. I was having a conversation on Discord with a friend about cryptocurrency mining. I have absolutely no interest in cryptocurrency mining and hadn't Google searched anything about it or searched anything about it, period, for probably 2 years since I was at college. But I started randomly getting ads after talking about it.
Yeah, that's definitely been a thing, and I guess Facebook did come out and say, yeah, we've been listening in.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they swore up and down, oh no, we're not doing that.
I mean, it's. I laugh because then, like Minority Report, when he would walk in the store and it would scan his retina, and all of a sudden ads directed just for him or things directed just for him were up. It's like, oh, that is so fascinating and it's so sci-fi. No, it's not. They do it today.
Yeah, they're just not as blatant about it.
I mean, when you're sitting there talking to, it's happened to me more than once, where I'll be talking to my wife about something, I'll open Facebook, and the first thing I see is an ad and or a suggested post about the thing I was just talking about. And it's like, how can you sit there and deny for so long, oh, well, we weren't doing it. No, we weren't doing it. No, when it's right there, the proof is right there in front of us all the time. I say we just go back to MySpace.
I don't know if I could do that. Because MySpace is just the worst.
Just the worst. Stupid Marvel and their stupidness. The fact that people are like, well, they're not going to bring back the people the way you think they're going to. Seeing as they keep leaking pictures from Avengers 4, they're all back, even though it's very obvious that time travel is involved.
Yeah, that it's very clear that they're at least for a part of the film revisiting the time of the first Avengers.
Yes, I would say first Avengers. I didn't get a good look at Ant-Man's suit in the pictures, but it looked. I would guess. Well, he's newer, but it looked more like his older suit from what I saw. Tony Stark looks all updated with his blonde tips and stuff like that on his hair. But yeah, I mean, of course they're going to bring these characters back. Some of them at least. And then the clickbait. Oh, the clickbait. So much clickbait.
All the clickbait.
11 reasons why Marvel characters won't come back, and 7 reasons why they will. Those are almost as bad as the ones that like post a video and says, "Guy was jumping on a trampoline. What happens next? I couldn't believe my eyes." Well, that's good because I'm not going to watch it anyway.
Or the infamous ad of doctors really hate this person because they follow this really weird tip.
Yes. Or the one that pops up on Facebook all the time is Amazon. The trick the millennials use on Amazon is saving billions of dollars. It's like, okay. Speaking of that, very interesting. I finally broke down, and I know that in 2 days the price goes up for Amazon Prime, but you can't buy it outright. You have to go through the 30-day trial first, which is fine. It's 30 days free, but now I'm going to be very curious, since I did it today, whether it's going to be prorated, where when it finally does charge my card, will I get charged the $99 it was when I hit the button, or will I get the $119? Because you best believe I'll be raising some holy hell if it's $119.
Well, I canceled mine.
Well, I grabbed it just
several months
because
back.
I grabbed it just because we have been buying a lot on Amazon as of late. So I was like, you know what? I'm tired of paying shipping.
I had it for a while, but they kept pulling stuff out of it to make add-on services.
I wasn't a fan of that either.
What used to just be Amazon Prime Music that came with Amazon Prime is now Prime Music Unlimited, which is another $100 a year.
Yep. Oh, that I noticed that about the TV shows. You want to watch this show? You now need to subscribe for it. I'm like, I just paid you. Why do I pay more? Not like the Dukes of Hazzard, which totally was like, yeah. I was like, the Dukes of Hazzard? I can watch all the seasons of the Dukes of Hazzard? I don't know why that excited me as much as it did.
Well, I didn't watch any of it. I wasn't getting the full use out of it, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna cancel it. Don't feel like paying. Was it the $12.99 a month?
I just dropped $100 right off the bat. I was like, you know what? Just do it. Get it out of the way. But they didn't charge me right away. That's what bothers me, is you have to go through the 30-day free trial. So we'll see what happens in 30 days. And if in 30 days they decide they're going to charge me $119, I'll cancel it. Because what you're offering me, free shipping, and me, I mean, I can't even watch the Boomerang shows. You got to subscribe to Boomerang for $7.99 a month. Or you got to subscribe to, I mean, I understand you have to subscribe to the CBS All Access, and that was already a given before. But it's like, why would I not just go do that anyway on my own through CBS All Access? And I don't know, do they have any TV shows or of their original stuff that's worthwhile?
It depends on who you ask, I think. I personally have no idea because I haven't gone digging through it.
We're talking about Prime?
Mm-hmm.
You know what really bothered me? Because I haven't watched any of the rest of the season. I only saw the first episode of The Tick. And I didn't even watch it now. I don't remember where I saw it, but I watched it. And I was like, okay, this is pretty funny. And then they were dropping F-bombs left and right throughout the show, and I'm like, really? Really? What was that necessary for, aside from the fact that you want to see him edgy?
That's probably it right there.
It's like, oh, well, no, we're going to get a TVMA and more people will watch it, and all these kids will say, oh, we're doing something bad.
The Grand Tour is pretty good, and what I watched of The Man in the High Castle was pretty good.
I hear that's a good show. But yeah, The Tick totally soured me because I was just like, The Tick was always tongue-in-cheek, stupid humor. It was crude, but it was never rude. And there was no reason for it to go that route. I mean, seriously, it's The Tick.
It's pretty dumb.
Yeah, the comic books never gave me the impression that it needed to be Deadpool light. But whatever Amazon wants to do. Speaking of shows that have been edgy, it would appear that Thanos is the reason that the Earth gets destroyed in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I didn't watch last week's episode because I remembered literally over half an hour late. I'm like, nope, can't watch it. I'll have to wait till next week. Saturday.
You're gonna have to wait the week? Are you gonna watch it?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, okay.
I just have to catch up on it. That's all.
Well, I will
because
say,
it won't let you. The thing is, if you go to ABC's website, you cannot see last week's episode the day of the new episode coming out because they won't let you see it. It'll literally tell you can't do it. You have to wait until Saturday.
Yep.
I'm so far behind on AOS, and I just keep forgetting to sit down and watch it.
I will say I wasn't expecting it. I know they did a little, the week before that, they did a little, hey, have you seen that crazy stuff going on in New York? And I figured it was just a throwaway line because they have diverged so far from the rest of the MCU that it was kind of a given that maybe they're in their own timeline or whatever. But this past week's episode, Thanos got much more than just a name drop. And it was like, whoa, oh, okay, so it is all still tied together.
I'm assuming that people fell into ash.
Not yet. Because it is not in real time with Infinity War.
So they're a little behind.
They are, yeah, it's running, I would guess by the end of the season that might actually happen. But it has been, Thanos was definitely mentioned. He was addressed in a way that he is a major threat, and what has been going on, transpiring within Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ties into it to a point.
Maybe that's how they'll end the show. Literally, the entire cast just turns to dust.
No, it's always half.
But they could be part of the half of humanity and whatever that gets turned to dust.
No, they're not going to do that. If they did that, it would be just half of the cast.
Well, maybe if they if they fix with Avengers 4 and they fix everything, Triple come back.
Nope, that's not happening. Just let it go, man. You don't want to bring him back literally at the end of the series.
Do the whole.
He needs his own. He needs to come back and have his own series.
Just do the Newhart ending where he's in bed, rolls over, Coulson's laying there. Hey, the weirdest dream.
No, it's got to be him and Carter.
You guys have the worst case of denial. Jeez, let it go. It's done. It's been how many years now?
I don't know, but they do need to finish the Agent Carter arc.
It would be nice.
And it's not like she's doing anything right now. The show she left, or they figured that they were going to bank on with her because she was so popular in Agent Carter, got canned after what, 4 episodes?
I don't know.
It's like, you know.
Well, Agent Carter didn't do that well, so
It did better than it had more viewers than her other show did.
That second season was a little hit or miss.
I will say, when you really think about how prolific in 10 years Marvel has been on the video side of things, movies and television, it is downright scary that much content got produced in 10 years. 19 or 20 films, 19 films so far, right? Black Panther was 18 and then Infinity War was 19. And then, was it 12 series? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter, Daredevil, 2 seasons, Jessica Jones, 2 seasons, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, The Defenders, Punisher, Inhumans, and Runaways. And we got Cloak and Dagger coming this fall. On a network that I have sworn up and down I will never watch, but now they're going to make me watch that network. Freeform. It's like CW on acid.
Yeah, still not gonna watch.
But it's a monstrous amount of content.
It really is, and completely unrelated. Apparently, a tanker flipped on a Polish highway, and chocolate bars just covered, or liquid chocolate, I'm sorry, covered that highway.
Still waiting on the peanut butter truck.
It's a pretty sweet mess.
What's the joke from Family Guy that the guy eating peanut butter and the guy eating chocolate get in a car accident and then they're discovered by Officer Reese's and he kills them both?
So, a chocolate-covered Polish highway, is that kind of like, a different kind of Polish sausage?
I didn't know the Poles were known for chocolate.
I didn't know that either.
Usually it's the Germans and the Swiss, right?
Yeah, usually.
It's going to be like a day of mourning if it was in Switzerland, if it was just Swiss chocolate.
Yeah, I do like the caption here. It's like, this was no vanilla traffic jam. A tanker spilled liquid chocolate on a Polish highway. There's even a video.
Oh, on that kind of same note, little PSA for anyone living in the Northeast Ohio area, and there is a shipping company that has 40,000 pounds of cucumbers that was denied for some reason by the people who it was being shipped to. So now they've got an entire trailer full of 40,000 pounds of pickles that they are giving away for free. They gave it away for free today, and from tomorrow, I think from like 9 till 5 or from like 10 till 5 tomorrow, just stop on the highway in Lawrenceville and the truck will be there handing out free pickles or free cucumbers.
The only thing cucumbers are good for is making pickles.
And that's what I'm going to go get myself a couple of pounds of pickles for, or cucumbers for, to make some pickles.
I don't know. Cucumbers are not so bad. Put them on a sandwich.
I cannot stand cucumbers.
Little salt on it? Yeah, cucumbers good.
Yeah, I put ranch, and there's probably sodium in it, so same thing.
Yeah, but I'm weird because I grill my watermelon.
That's a thing?
If it wasn't for pickles, I would want cucumbers wiped off the face of the earth.
I'm going to have to try it with a cucumber. I never tried grilling a cucumber. You've never tried grilled watermelon?
No.
Oh, dude.
I don't eat watermelon.
Okay, if you're grilling and you got a watermelon, you don't have to, you can just try it out. Get a small one right off the bat. Slice it, rind it, so it's just the watermelon itself. Throw a little, baste it with a tiny bit of olive oil just on the surface on both sides. Throw it on the grill till it caramelizes a little on the outside. Flip it, do the same on the other side, then throw a little salt on it and eat it. It's incredible. There's your geeky chefness for the day.
That seems like an awful lot of work to eat watermelon.
Oh, no, dude. It's not that. It doesn't take that long. We're talking 30, 40 seconds on either side. As long as the heat's high enough on the grill. Because you're just caramelizing the sugar on the outside of the watermelon. It's good. It's really good.
I'll take your word for it. I'm not a big watermelon fan, mostly because I don't like dealing with the seeds.
Me either. I don't like watermelon. I'm not a big melon fan in general. But I tried it and I was like, hey, this is actually pretty good.
I don't like watermelon at all. I'm even super sensitive to the smell. Like, even just the smell starts turning my stomach.
Wow.
What about
I have
watermelon bubblegum?
no idea why.
I know a guy who can't stand chicken.
Years ago, I was okay with watermelon. Like, I could eat it. I didn't like it and everything, but at some point, it just, I don't know why, it started turning my stomach. I've had people that tell me watermelon doesn't even have a smell, but I can smell it.
It does.
Watermelon smells great. And pork chops taste good.
No, we haven't heard anything from Alistair in a while. I think we've driven him away to go get something.
Where did Roland go?
No,
Left
I'm
as he
just being
does.
quiet.
Ding.
Ding.
Fries are done.
I'm so glad somebody did it.
We've been doing it all week.
Oh, okay. What is the ding?
That's me getting Facebook messages.
Hmm.
He's plotting with the other Geek EZ.
The one that, what was it, you might have to visit or something?
No, there's another podcast called The Geek EZ where it's fully spelled out. They put out like 2 podcasts a year.
Their last one was in December.
Should send him a cease and desist.
Just so long as it isn't a handwritten one like someone said Sid Alpha.
Why? That's just as legal. A cease and desist is only a warning of possible. There's no legal stuff behind it.
We
Well,
want you to stop. Well, we're not gonna.
Well, then you go and take it further.
There's this guy called Andrew Watt who's puts his name on everything, but he keeps sending cease and desist letters to this particular YouTuber who covers the shady shit that Andrew Watt does. And even Sid Alpha has been in contact with lawyers in the area that Andrew Watts lives in, which is the UK. And essentially, his cease and desist letters aren't even worth the paper they would be printed on.
Stop saying bad things about me.
You can't claim someone is violating your privacy by saying your name on the YouTube video when your username is your real name.
Yeah, I need to change that.
You must protect yourself.
There's a reason I'm Lord Alistair on everything and not my real name.
I know.
Why are you guys whispering?
I don't know. Why do I keep wanting to go to the Kermit the Frog voice? I don't know.
Oh my lord.
You go to Kermit and, I'll do Mickey Mouse! Ha-ha!
So I just spotted this, and it could be considered political, but it isn't really. I just found it very amusing. It's an article from The Independent that reads, "Man tries to burn European Union flag. Flag doesn't burn because of European Union regulations on flammable materials."
Yeah. Nice.
We will save you from yourself.
Oh no, it's the Catholic Church.
Oh no! Don't no.
It's a
Stop.
quote. It's a quote.
I know. Careful.
There's literally nothing to be careful about. It is a quote from Ultimate Hellsing Abridged. We have come to save you. Oh, thank the Lord, it's the Catholic Church. From yourselves. Oh no, it's the Catholic Church.
So many people need saving from themselves, I guess. That's why we get Facebook ads and all that kind of stuff. You don't know what's good for you. We do.
Yeah, no, you don't.
You know, with everybody complaining about it and everybody saying, well, it's not. Do they work? I'm just curious. Do these things work? When you get these stupid little spam emails from the prince in Saudi Arabia or whatever, and all, I mean, does it work? I mean, are there people dumb enough?
Yes.
That's
Otherwise,
unfortunate.
it wouldn't keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta remember, there's a sucker born every minute.
And I've had the phone calls where I pick it up and I'm like, okay, because it looks like a number that I might know, and I'm like, oh, all right. And all of a sudden, I think, what was it? The guy actually was like saying that with a very broken English accent, could barely understand him. Something about he needed to get rid of this money fast, but he needed me to wire him. It's like, really? You have how much money in your possession? Yet I need to wire you money so you can get rid of it?
I always think it's funny when I look in my spam folder and apparently I emailed myself.
Yes.
Or you get
Love that
phone calls from yourself.
I've gotten that
Those
a
are
couple
awesome.
times. And I'm like, wait a minute, what the? Of course, considering where I live, the area code is different from what's on my phone. So whenever I get those kinds of calls, and it's with the area code that my phone's for, I'm like, well, that's not a number I know. I don't have to pay any attention to you, and I don't. Now, if it was for the actual area around here, I'd be like, okay, maybe there could be I don't know, maybe a company that's looking to hire or whatever, but that doesn't happen. Yeah, and Firefly, if you answer one of these calls and it's an actual person, try reading a textbook to them. Yeah, you should do that, Adam. If you get one of those calls, read a textbook to them, but do it in Kermit the Frog's voice.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Let me tell you about the radius of pi. I don't know why I suddenly went Great North there. Well, let me tell you, let me tell you about the radius of pi, eh?
I don't know. Am I Ray Romano or am I Kermit the Frog?
Yes.
Yes.
If any of y'all entered to try and win a stateroom on Star Trek The Cruise 3, they sent out emails yesterday, and it might have gotten flagged as spam. I know mine did. I'm saying I didn't win.
Oh. No, I don't do those. The last one I did was the Last Jedi giveaway where they were giving away like a 50-inch 4K TV and a few other things, and I didn't win.
Yeah, I tried, and then it's like, then I saw how much it would cost. I'm like, yeah, even if I won, I'd be like, I can't go.
Because you still got to pay the taxes and all that crap on it.
Yeah, it's just it's not worth it. If you don't have the money, you don't even bother. Because, and I read up on this recently. Well, even once you get on the ship, guess what? You still have to buy everything else. You have to buy the food or whatever. Like, doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose? You mean you're already on the ship? They've already got your money. That should all be
And
inclusive.
now they're holding you hostage.
Yeah, cruises are not for the faint of heart, at least financially.
Oh,
If you have issues with water, maybe you shouldn't go for that reason
Sure.
either.
Well, with all the issues cruises have been having lately, they're not for the faint of heart, period.
Well, no, not all cruises. It's mostly just Caribbean cruise. It's been having problems.
Did you see the video of the cruise ship literally filling with water?
No. I've been on 2 cruises, and they weren't expensive at all. Comparatively, if you compare it to, say, a trip to like a nice hotel and dinner every night and breakfast and lunch every day at said whatever. So, yeah, I mean, it's nowhere near comparable.
That actually is expensive?
Well, no. Let's see. The cruise I went on a 4-day cruise to the Bahamas, and we left from Florida. Okay, so you still got to get to where the cruise is, but I lived in Florida, so it was no big deal. We left from Florida, and I think because it's all inclusive, your meals are all included, all you can eat anything. I mean, if there was sushi on the deck, you went and go eat sushi. If there was this over here, you can go eat this. I mean, the only thing you have to pay for is your alcohol, and since I don't drink, not that way, it was no big deal for me. I think we paid what, $550 for the 4 nights.
That's and how many were with you?
Just me and my wife,
That
my ex-wife.
well, it's gone up a lot since then, and apparently, at least Disney
Oh no,
cruises
Disney cruises are
will
stupid.
charge you.
Yeah,
They
Disney
charge
cruises
you
are
through the
crazy.
nose.
My brother-in-law, they go what? They go on 2 or 3 Disney cruises a year. But yeah, he uses his Disney card, so he gets discounts and stuff.
Must
like
be nice to have that kind of money.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he makes pretty good scratch, so.
Don't knock a person for making good scratch by any means. It's just like, wow.
No,
Personally,
he,
I find
yeah,
other
he,
things to
he,
spend it
he
on.
is, yes. He is a multiple, yeah, he's not hurting, so.
I
But
shared
either way,
the cruise ship flood video to the cantina, by the way.
Oh, the water line broke. Yeah, the Carnival cruises have been having problems for some reason.
well, Carnival, I will say, I've been on the Carnival and I was on a Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean was much nicer. Carnival Cruise is the tackiest thing on the ocean right now. From the decoration, I mean, it is the gaudiest. It's like, think of the worst, like, casino, Las Vegas, stereotypical thing that you could think of, and then multiply that by 10.
Has someone been watching too much of The Love Boat?
No, dude, the Love Boat was tame comparatively. It was a party boat, and it's usually filled with a rowdy crowd and all that. The Royal Caribbean cruises, it's a much more relaxed atmosphere.
There is one. If I was to go on a cruise, there's one cruise I definitely would do. And it's on the Queen Mary 2. Because that goes across. That can, depending on the cruise option you pick, you could be gone for 6 months doing a worldwide tour. And it's a nice ship.
I would like to cruise the fjords. Like one of those river cruises in Europe. That'd be awesome.
Pining for the fjords.
I am pining for the fjords.
No, it is definitely expensive to do the Queen Mary one. But it's nice.
Hey, can we spoil comic books?
Well, we just had free comic book day, so I don't see why not.
I missed it.
I got a bunch of them.
I so missed free comic. When was it? It was for Saturday. Wasn't it? How did I miss free comic book day? Oh, yeah.
You were doing your stuffs.
Probably. Oh yeah, I was. It was a soccer day. It was run around soccer day. But yeah, Justice League No Justice #1 has I don't know how. I haven't read up on it. It's not one of the books that I'm all up on. But they done kill somebody pretty big in the DC universe. Huge, actually. It's a pretty big death.
Oh, did they?
Oh yes.
I've just stopped getting Justice League ones.
Amanda Waller done killed him.
Ooh.
Yeah, Brainiac's dead. Sorry.
It's Brainiac. He's not dead.
He's died a few times.
He'll be back.
I don't know.
I mean, let's face it. Like, as was pointed out, he has died a few times, quote unquote, died. We know he survives to the future because he's part of whatever that group was that I can't think of right now.
That's Brainiac 5.
Still a Brainiac. Which Marvel did the same thing with Ultron. There was a good Ultron too. He did. If I remember right.
According to comicbook.com, it would appear that more rumblings in the DC rumor universe, in their cinematic universe, is that the Flashpoint storyline for Flash, the Flash film, is being nixed. So.
Well, they got to tie it into the Superman versus Batman thing somehow. Which the rumor was that it was Flashpoint that did that. Now they're going to have to come up with a different story.
That's the cool. You just do a different story. It doesn't have to be Flashpoint. Especially for a character you just introduced.
No, honestly, though, Flashpoint's not that good a story. Especially considering what it led into.
True.
which was just a convoluted mess. Face it, DC, New 52 was a mess, and that's why you've rolled back from it.
That now we have Rebirth. And a new Kryptonian killer. Still not up on that one. With Bendis writing Superman now?
I don't know what's going on there.
Obviously, the dude's just got a hard-on to kill Superman.
Well, Kryptonians in general.
Yes. But the design on the character is very generic, if you ask me.
That's not unusual, though. I mean, if you think about it, how unique can you really make some characters? Especially when you're going for like a supervillain.
Yeah, but they all kind of end up looking like Calabac.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're up against Superman. The only one who doesn't look like a big brute type character would be Lex Luthor, who's removed the S from his armor now. They've definitely rolled back some of that too.
Oh, the Lex Luthor Superman?
Yeah.
Haha. Movie Pass stocks plummet. Wonder why.
Because we're not allowing you to rewatch things. And I wouldn't be surprised if people start dropping the subscription like flies. I'll admit, it's crossed my mind. Not because of the whole
Stop
you
me
can't
from
rewatch.
getting one.
Well, the whole rewatch thing, it doesn't bother me too much. Because you couldn't use it for IMAX to begin with. But it's like now you're limited to only 4 movies a month. When before it was pretty much unlimited. You could watch a movie a day.
Yeah, but then like 3 days later, they supposedly brought back an unlimited plan.
I have no idea about that.
There's also another company competing with them now.
There has been for quite some time. There's 2 others. I didn't realize this Movie Pass has been around for quite a while, but they were charging like $50 a month. And then they did their big thing, and it just, it exploded up to, several million subscribers.
Oh, well. They're hurting now. It's hurting. Now, it's funny. Did Netflix stocks take a hit every time they raise the prices and stuff? I haven't kept up on it.
I think they took a hit when they were going to try to spin off the DVD side to its own thing. And then when they rolled back from that, the stocks rebounded. With the update and the cost, I don't recall hearing if it took a hit or not. Because it was very incremental.
I know Movie Pass's parent company stock took a huge hit today.
Just looking to see. Well, let's see. Things that are no. I guess they do dip slightly.
Yeah, but as long as people aren't cutting subscriptions, they'll be fine.
The
moment you start doing that,
here's one that's pretty right up there in the monetary thing. It would appear that Infinity War is breaking Chinese pre-sale records.
yeah, because it doesn't come out until this weekend.
$50 million in advance tickets already purchased in China.
What are they up to, actually?
Who, the Chinese?
No. Okay, so domestic total for Infinity War in U.S. is $472 million. And it's open in most of the world at this point.
All the money.
UK is still the biggest one right now overseas at 67 million.
Give us all the pounds. All the pounds.
But keep in mind, though, you add in all of the other foreign viewings, whatever, they made $754 million. And that's with all the other countries, and China's not even in it yet.
That's foreign box office.
Yep, entire foreign box office currently out there without China.
And then you add in the domestic, and it's way over $1 billion, right?
Oh yes, 1.2 billion.
Okay, $1.2 billion. Now,
within 12 days.
This is a great segue into another one that's floating around out there on the interwebs because of we got to come up with a new word for fake outrage or faux outrage. Is it faux rage?
Faux rage.
Faux rage. The faux rage because somehow all of the clickbaity articles and the those who like to incite the craziness of fandom, they reported that Chris Pratt made $2 million more or something to that effect. He made a lot more money for Jurassic World 2 than what's her name, Bryce Dallas Howard, or what is her name? Either way, exactly. I don't know. Bryce Dallas Howard. You said you don't know.
I'm not good with names to begin with.
Yes, I know, but she's not a household name. You know if you saw her, you know who she is. But she is not a bankable name.
Didn't
For some
Pratt
reason.
also do some of his own stunts?
Yeah, but he's just a bigger bank. He's got $3 billion films under his belt buckle, as well as he starred in a hit television show. He's a name that people know. He's a name and a face people know, whereas she is not. And it has been a long thing in Hollywood history, and in most things, if you're a bank, I mean, this is why certain sports players get paid more, because they put more seats or butts in the seats. If you have a bankable star, that bankable star has the ability in his contracts to ask for more money. And then there's negotiating that goes on. No, that's not good enough for everybody now. Everybody has to be paid the exact same thing no matter who they are, and they're losing their minds over it. I was like, it's been this way for generations, and that's how it's done. Why is no one yelling that this guy in baseball is making more than this guy in baseball?
Aren't the Jurassic World movies the only movies she's actually headlined?
Big time, yes. No, she headlined. Didn't she do that M. Night Shyamalan one where she was the mermaid?
Yeah, we just don't talk about that.
And
Lady in the Water?
Yeah, she was the headliner in that, wasn't she? But again, exactly. She's not a name that everybody knows. It's like Patty Jenkins.
Wasn't she also in The Village?
I think so. Patty Jenkins, director of Wonder Woman, is making, I think, 3 times more than she made for the first Wonder Woman to direct the second one. Why? Because she's proven herself as the director that will bring in the money. Hence, they're going to give her more money.
That is the way it goes. I mean, they're rewarding success.
Exactly. Same with Gal Gadot. When Gal Gadot was signed for Wonder Woman, she's making much. She made more for Justice League, and she's going to make more for Wonder Woman 2 than she did for the first one. It just happens. That's economics. It's like, oh, if you're bringing in more money for me, I will give you more money. Especially for the fact that,
as long as they don't do some Hollywood accounting crap.
Yeah, well, they always do.
But sure they do, but at the very least, if you do a really good job with your contracts, then it's a lot harder for them to, get away with that sort of thing.
But it's just, if you've got a bigger name, you can ask for more money. They'll give you more money for reasons of they don't want to not make the movie, and if that's the star that's going to bring the butts into the seats, then you need to pay that star what they're worth. And Chris Pratt is the bigger star.
There's been a big kick, though, that if you've got two people that are both the lead characters, that a lot of people are starting to say they should be paid at least close to the same amount.
I can see the argument for that. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Vin Diesel and Dwayne Johnson for the Furious movies got paid similarly. They're both bankable names. They're both the star of the movie. Am I wrong? I'd have to go look.
I don't know. They don't always publish that information.
But it's the browbeating that goes on because of this kind of stuff. And then, of course, they bring in the fact, well, she's a woman, that's why she's getting paid less. I was like, no, if it was a male co-star who was a less bankable name, I'm pretty sure they'd get less money, too. Actually, I can guarantee it.
Wasn't there a huge upset over Matt Smith being paid more than Claire Foy when they did The Crown?
There was complaints about that, and that's, again, he
pointed out. I have no idea who Claire Foy is, other than that she was in The Crown.
Exactly. Again,
I do know she was also playing the Queen in that, so I don't know.
Yeah, she's playing the main lead role. By all means, it would make sense that she should have been making significantly more, but Matt Smith can pull in more money because it's Matt Smith. Now, I don't know if it changed in the second season.
Well, now I do know
third season with her, then she probably could have pulled in more because she's a fantastic actress.
I do know her stars on the uptick because she also just starred in that Soderbergh movie, Unsane.
And it happens, and once people once the name gets out there, then all of a sudden the money starts flowing, and that's how it works. It was very reminiscent of the Mark Wahlberg, Michelle Williams thing for whatever movie they just had come out, where because of the reshoots, Mark Wahlberg got blasted all over Twitter because he made more money than she did for the reshoots. And it's more of the fact because she came back for the reshoots on scale while he had it in his contract that he would get a certain amount of money for reshoots. And
it's a legality thing.
But that wasn't good enough for everybody. So they blasted him. They shamed him on Twitter to the point where he took all the money that he made contractually off of the reshoots for that film, and then in turn, in shame, because he was being shamed, gave it to charity or something. To save face, basically, because he was getting ripped apart for it. And I was like, why are you ripping the guy apart for being smart in a contract negotiation?
I think it's because the vast majority of people in the United States don't understand about contract negotiations. I don't. I mean, I'm a contract employee, and I'm not involved in that process. I have no idea how to negotiate for that. I should, because that's how you get more money, but I don't. I just don't. I expect my work and my history thereof, to be the indication of, yeah, he's worth paying more. We should pay him more. That's not how it works. And I just don't, I have the disconnect. I literally personally have a disconnect between being able to ask for more because I don't know how, even though I know I should, versus actually getting it. No, that's not my point, Wolfie. I literally don't think in that manner. And the vast majority of people are the same way.
I'm not trying to be mean when I say that. I know that's what it sounds like, but I'm trying to tell you the easiest solution to what you're saying is to simply ask for more.
Except that it doesn't work in this environment, and the reason for that is because, and this is the reason why wages have not gone up, is because companies can get away with it. If you ask for more, they can be like, you know what? No, we don't need you.
Exactly, because they'll sit there and say, well, there's this guy that's fresh out of college that'll do it for like $10 cheaper than you. And that guy is going to be really, really happy to get that $10. And it's like, fine. But again, in turn, it still goes around. You get what you pay for. Believe me, I deal with this. I deal with it all the time as a freelance artist.
And I think that...
Go ahead.
And I was just going to say, and I think that's a vast majority of the problem there, is that most people, at least in the U.S., I don't know about if other social justice warriors around the world, if they are complaining about this whole bad payout deal. They just don't understand contracts. They literally don't. I think a good example is the bankers. When the bankers were contractually, had contracts in place that they were to get bonuses. From a legal standpoint, that is absolutely 100% correct. They should have gotten it, even though considering that they just got bailed out, somebody should have gone back and said, "We need to change the contract on this."
Yeah, there should have been legal negotiations on that aspect.
And they didn't fix it, and that's why that blew up in their faces, as well it should.
Yeah,
In the case of Mark Wahlberg, he was smart. Sure. Is it unfair to her? Oh yeah, totally unfair to her.
It sounds like her representation screwed her, because even though she was represented by the same company as Mark, nobody told her he was getting paid.
Yeah, see, there's a good example there.
Yeah.
If the people that are supposed to be representing you screw you over, you need to get new representatives.
I don't know if it could be. I know that a lot of people came back on that film to do reshoots for free because, I mean, there were a lot of people in the film that came back and said, okay, no, we'll just do it for scale, which is like $150 a day. It's cheap. It's real cheap comparatively. But it's like, okay, he had it in his contract. I don't know if he put it in there, his agent put it in there, someone put it in there that he'd make a certain amount of money for reshoots. But either way, it's the amount of shaming that goes on, and especially when I hate using the term like gender card or race card. I hate those uses. But because she was a woman and because she's making less, it feeds into the wage gap and all that kind of stuff. And it was like, but that's not what's in play here. It's not she's being discriminated against. It's because of who she is or what gender she is. It's just her bankability.
To be fair, you want to argue wage gap in most jobs? Oh yeah, it totally exists. Even CEOs, women CEOs are not paid as much as their male counterparts. And realistically speaking, they should be because they're a freaking CEO. In that case, so I'm not sure if it's an argument that the company just gave a hard line, nope, we're not going to pay more than this? Or is it that they just didn't know that there was more money on the table to ask for? I don't know. And I won't pretend to know.
No, I mean, that kind of stuff, having done my share of negotiating for jobs and payment and all that kind of stuff, it's a pain in the butt. It really is. And there's always going to be somebody, especially when you get aspects of either they ask for too much and the studio is like, no, we're going to go a different direction. Because they can do that too. So, I mean, you got to play that card. It's like, well, do we pay this guy to come back, or do we just sit there and find somebody else to fill the role? I don't know. I just thought it was really funny that, again, it's the misunderstanding of how that kind of stuff works and the lack of understanding on the bankability of a certain name compared to another name. And it's
No, but there's still been problems, like the fact that Jennifer Lawrence earned less for American Hustle than Christian Bale and the other male actors did. There's no way you could say she was less of a bankable star than them at that point in her career.
No. But again, we don't know what went on behind the scenes. We don't know what her agent did because all that stuff is handled by the people behind the scenes. She doesn't negotiate her own contract.
I just find it interesting that of all the leads in that movie, most of the men were apparently at 9% of something, and she and Amy Adams were both at 7%.
Yeah, that's kind of messed up.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are going to disagree.
I won't disagree with that.
That there is definitely
there's an issue
fairness
involved. Yeah, there's a fairness thing. There's an issue involved. It deals with agency, but when it comes to the Jurassic World thing, I really don't think that it was because she was a woman. I think it's because he's the bankable name.
You have that whole thing of quotes or whatever, which is like the highest you've ever been paid for a movie, and I don't think her quote is anywhere near what his would be.
Not with $3 billion under his belt.
Yeah, not with 3 hit Marvel films under his belt.
Now, do we know if he took a back-end deal on the Marvel movies?
I don't know. He'd be smart if he did. I mean, I would think hopefully now somebody negotiated that into it.
I would hope he was smart enough to take a back end on Jurassic World and on Guardians.
You know what's really funny? The more I see him play, when there were rumors floating around of him playing Indiana Jones. And I was all like, oh, no, 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 no. I actually probably could see it.
I could see him as Indy. He'd have to change how he acts a little bit, but I think he'd be a better fit than this guy playing Solo probably is going to be.
I don't know. People are saying he does a pretty good job. And we'll find out in a couple of weeks.
I don't know. I'm like I said last week, I'm still hoping that this is just a secret Lando Calrissian movie.
Not gonna be.
You know what cracks me? Another one about the Solo thing? Because this is still people. Is Jabba the Hutt in the movie? Of course Jabba the Hutt's in the movie.
Speaking of Lando, did you guys see Donald Glover's Childish Gambino's new video, This Is America?
No.
Childish campaign?
Childish Gambino, that's his rap name.
No, I heard about it. Haven't seen it yet. I heard it was pointed.
A really deep dive into a lot of the stuff that African Americans and other people have faced in this country. But you kind of have to look at what some of the people are saying to get some of the references and stuff. But it's interesting to say the least.
I saw it a couple of times floating on Facebook, and it was like, oh, okay, maybe I'll have to watch this. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Well, I haven't. I did watch the Deadpool Celine Dion music video, though.
No,
which is not nowhere near as pointed. It is a fantastic video, though. I probably should, though, just go ahead and watch the Donald Glover one.
Wolfie, is the fact that they brought in acting coaches really bothering you that much for the Solo film?
I think we lost Wolfie.
It did bother me, and it still does a little bit, but I don't know.
It doesn't look like Harrison Ford.
The look is so different to me. It's just hard. I mean, granted, Donald Glover doesn't look that much like,
Billy D.
D.
I'll say that he does look closer to Billy D than this guy to Harrison Ford.
Some of the guy's got a weird look. Like, are his eyes oddly spaced to anybody else?
They're slightly far apart, yes. He's got a wider head than Ford.
I think that's part of it, is just stuff like that bugs me a little bit. I think it's going to be I want to see the movie. I just am nervous about it. It's just usually anytime that so much of a movie's behind the scenes stuff spills out into the public, the movie usually isn't that great.
Yeah, but you know what? The behind the scenes stuff aside from his acting coach, all the directorial stuff that happened, I think had to come out because they were obviously the wrong choice for the film. They were in over their heads and they got caught. That was the big deal. They were in over their heads. They were comedy guys, and they landed how they landed it in the first place, I don't know. But they were making it was like, let's say you get hired for a job and every decision you make is the wrong one, you're gonna get fired. When you're costing the people money, and it cost them a pretty penny to reshoot 80% of that movie.
Well, now supposedly they didn't have to reshoot as much because these guys shot so many scenes over and over and over. That was part of the problem.
Yeah, because they were going off script and they were letting them just kind of wing it. And I'm sorry, but you can't wing a Star Wars movie.
You can. You still have to give them some kind of rails to work within, so they know, what range, I guess. But to be fair, it's a Star Wars film. You should have a pretty good idea. Yeah, there can be a little humor.
Yeah,
because it's Harrison Ford, Han Solo. He did have some of those moments. You got to have somebody, guy playing a smooth smuggler, gambler, i.e., Lando Calrissian. You pretty much know what you're getting into.
Yeah,
you want a comedy? Well,
the other thing that bugs me
but
is that they didn't do a great job with the guy's hair.
You're killing me.
No, look, I'm sorry, but they could have done a better job with the hair.
I don't know. It's kind of feathered the way Ford's was in the original film. But again, he's 25 or 20 years younger than he was, right? I mean, he's supposed to be a kid in this movie, just kind of starting out.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think he's playing younger than he really is. I would hope that he's playing Han Solo as a much younger character. So yeah, I mean, I'm going in completely with some high hopes for it, and I think I'm gonna find it enjoyable. Because I don't get all pissy because it's not my Star Wars. Now, aside from
he may blow me away. I'm trying my best to go in with an open mind, but I don't know. He doesn't do much for me. I think Donald Glover is going to be amazing as Lando.
oh yeah, everything we've seen so far of him as Lando, even though it's the same scenes over and over again, yeah. But he's got the chops for it, so.
And I find it interesting that, you know, this whole thing where Han is supposed to be the movie's literally named Solo, and it looks like it's more of an ensemble piece. I'm wondering if some of that is what's making me nervous and I'm not realizing it, or I don't know.
I wonder if we're going to find out that his name really isn't Han Solo. I know it's cliched, but it's kind of like the whole, is Jabba the Hutt going to be in it? Of course Jabba the Hutt's going to be in it.
I don't know about of course. If it's before that, the incident, he may not.
I know more and more things are coming out that the big baddie that's in it, I guess the big dude that's running everything, answers to somebody bigger. That just came out in one of the clips. Do you know who I answer to? And it was like, well, I kind of guessed that's who you answer to because I kind of figured that's what it was going to be all along. But that was me just kind of, yeah, of course Jabba's going to. I mean, you can't have a Han Solo movie without Jabba the Hutt. It's like you can't, I mean, is Boba Fett going to make an appearance? Most likely. Somewhere along the line you're going to see Fett.
Maybe.
But just remember what I said about the Red Skull. Said he'll be back, and sure enough, there he was. Spoilers. You got to give the fans what they want. Now, were you that upset when Chris Pine was cast as Captain Kirk? Wolfie?
No. I mean, but that was also, from the beginning, they pushed that as a reboot, essentially.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this isn't a reboot. This is supposed to fit right into canon, so. At least Chewie looks the same.
Well, now that they've already got the costume straightened out.
Yes. I will say they did an amazing job of getting Chewie right, because whatever Lucas did in episode 3 was wrong. Got to use the newfangled stuff. Well, the newfangled stuff just doesn't look like Chewie. You can call it Chewie, but that ain't Chewie.
This would be the first released in theaters, Star Wars movie did not have any connection to the Force at all, right?
We don't know about that.
Rogue One, yeah, I guess it did have a connection to the Force.
He had some Force powers. That's supposedly how he could see and everything.
Oh, dude, he was so a Jedi. What are you talking?
No, they've actually straight up said he had none.
Who? What's his name? Chirrut?
Yeah.
No.
He just trusted completely into the Force, and the Force guided it for him.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's still the Force.
But he wasn't using it. He wasn't actively using it. You got to keep in mind that this the thing that's always been pointed out in all the films is like, the Force is intertwined with all life. Everybody can kind of sense it, just not to the level of a Jedi and a Sith and whatever, to the point that they can actually use it
and manipulate it.
And in this case, the people who are what is it, the followers there,
yes.
They just
believed.
Yeah, they just believed into it so much that they just trusted that it'll guide them regardless.
That's kind of like the character of Lor San Tekka was one of those, where he believed he was not a Force user, but he believed.
Yeah. And that's pretty much the long and short of that. And it guided him into, at least in his mind, it guided him to where he needed to be at that particular moment in time. And then after that, his purpose was done, and he fully accepted it. He was not a Force user.
But the Force was with him, and he was with the Force. But yes, Han Solo will be the first Star Wars film that will have no connection to the Jedi that we know of, or any of the Force users.
There's going to be somebody who's got some Force ability. Although there's been arguments online that say Han Solo's got the Force.
Nope. He's just that damn good.
Well, the example that's been most recently given was from The Force Awakens, where he shoots a guy that he's not even seeing, literally
Again,
from behind his back.
He's
Like,
just
I know.
that damn good.
Well, and the point that was being made is that, you know, he's been talking about hokey religions and whatnot and talking down on it for all this time, and would it be ironic if he actually was Force sensitive? He just didn't know it, and that's why he was so good?
You know what, though? That runs along the line that everybody has to be related. Which is kind of, I mean, the whole, well, who is Rey related to? And Rey's got to be this. The idea that everyone in this tight little band has to be related somehow. It's like, well, Poe Dameron's Force user or
I don't
Force
know.
sensitive.
Personally, I still feel he is.
Yeah, me too. Just the way they've written the character.
The fact that he grew up on Yavin, near a Force, you know, a powerful Force sensitive tree. I'm willing to bet if he's not Force sensitive, he's certainly been blessed.
And he never misses a shot. Ever.
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 However, he always misses the point.
Yes.
Yes.
And yes, the obvious is he has no grasp for the obvious. He's doing something. He's doing something. He's stalling or something. Oh, really, dude? It took you that long to figure that out?
I don't understand where anybody comes up with this, like, it's all got to be tied by family. No, it doesn't. Did you watch the prequels? Did you even watch the Clone Wars TV show? Did you watch? Have you even watched Rebels? Clearly, it's not everybody's related.
Nope.
So I don't even know where this freaking quote-unquote theory came from. You people are idiots. And that's on the record.
I don't understand a lot of the hatred for the new stuff, because whereas Clone Wars took something that was kind of meh and made it great, when you've got things like Rebels, a lot of people poo-pooed it. Oh, it's geared towards kids. I'm sorry, that show by the third season was so not geared towards little kids.
Show in the first episode, pretty blatant murder of stormtroopers.
Yeah, straight up, yeah. Shots to the head and stuff. It was pretty blatant. But, I mean, it was...
Even the droid has a body count in Rebels.
That's true. Actually, that's probably one of the highest body counts next to Clone Wars. Clone Wars has a horrific body count. But this little band of purists that if it's not the original trilogy, it has to be pissed on, and anyone who likes anything outside of those three films is wrong, and everything must be boycotted, and you can't do it. You're ruining Star Wars. What ruining Star Wars? Star Wars is an expanding universe that branches out all over the place, and there's something for everybody. You don't like the new stuff? Don't go see it. But don't crap all over everybody who likes it or doesn't see a problem with it.
Well, that's just the thing people like to do anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, you like it, but I don't like it. You're wrong, blah, 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 blah.
Yes, Firefly, there was. Ezra did use a kaboth and totally meat puppeted the dude in the AT-AT, or the ATST.
Side note, though, I mean, I can understand why people can be bent out of shape about the whole EU being chucked, and we've discussed that before.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, we personally have invested our time, our money, whatnot into this. We've emotionally invested into it, and to have all that basically chucked aside into a Legends category, and with the idea that, oh, we're going to do whatever we want to do now. Yeah, that does feel like a betrayal. I get it. Although, Adam Withers and Comfort Love, I think about a couple of their own live streams ago, talked about it. I mentioned that, granted through text, but why I feel like a betrayal. And they just shot that down. They don't buy into that at all. Granted, that's their opinion. I'll grant that. I think it's just. I think they might just be missing the point in some respects, though. Not just them, but others. It's like, yes, it's not ours. They can do whatever they want, but at the same time, I can see why people do get bent out of shape because you're emotionally invested into it at this point. You're behind the characters. You know it so thoroughly, and then to be told, yeah, everything that you know is no longer valid. Yeah, that's kind of a kick in the balls.
It's a kick in the balls, but they didn't take it away.
No, it's the fact that they are bringing those things back in is a great thing. I fully support that. I'm down with that.
I mean, a lot of people.
Do I want it all back? Sure.
A lot of people said, "Well, they took Thrawn and neutered him." I was like, "Okay, he was a character in 3 books." It's like he was a character that, while very well fleshed out in those 3 books, he was still only in 3 books. And what?
He was more than 3 books.
Who has more than 3 books?
He was in more than 3 books.
You're just thinking of the Thrawn trilogy. He was in more than just that.
Yeah, he shows up running into some smugglers years before he's just Thrawn.
Okay, but
he was in a lot more EU stuff than.
Yeah, but a lot. They said, well, they neutered him, and it's like they just used his name. I was like, I don't know. He seemed pretty close to character from what I remember from those 3 books from the Thrawn trilogy. He was cold. He was manipulative. He was calculated, like he was in the books. I mean, I think they did a really good job of translating him into a visual medium, getting rid of some of the extraneous stuff like the Isalamari and all those.
That doesn't show up until later anyway.
My biggest problem with Thrawn and Rebels was the Thrawn of the books wouldn't have delegated so many of things to other people.
Yeah, they would.
Well, you got to remember what the books take place. What would have been 8-9 years after Rebels? Yes, no. Would have been after. It would actually more than that. It would have been closer to because it wasn't Leia pregnant in the last book with Anakin and Jaina, or not Anakin, Jason and Jaina.
Yes.
So yeah, it would have been closer to 10 some odd years after Return of the Jedi. So I mean, people change, characters change.
I don't think it was 10 years after that. I'd have to look it up. But anyway, it's neither.
I mean, 10 years from Rebels.
Okay, I have somebody's estimated chopper kill count, and this doesn't even include season 4. He says total tally is 19 confirmed and direct kills, 49,997 estimated indirect kills using sabotage, 20 estimated kills using explosives, 3 astromechs killed, and 1 other droid killed.
Murderer.
The murder bot.
I killed Mufasa. Yeah, really. But the EU is the same thing. People say, "Oh, Discovery's not canon, and look what they're doing," and blah blah blah. It's like no one is taking Star Trek away. They're all still there.
They are tweaking it, taking it in different directions and stuff. And yeah, granted, they always do that. They've done that. I mean, hell, TNG is very different look from original series,
and it contradicts the original series here and there as well.
So,
contradicts itself.
Granted, you want to argue about the look of the Klingons in Discovery? I am 100% on board with that.
Yeah, I'm all there with that. The look of the Klingon, not only the ships but of themselves. Yeah, I'm all for that. I got issues with that. But
Star Trek is known for contradicting itself. First Contact contradicts TOS. Good chunks of Next Gen contradict TOS. I mean, it changes constantly.
It does. So, I mean, this whole, canon, it's like, it doesn't exist.
They completely rebooted the Trill.
Yes.
Which, to be fair, was kind of needed.
But you know what? I actually saw a pretty good retcon that explained how First Contact doesn't interfere with the TOS episode. Because he just disappeared. He doesn't die.
It does if you just go based on how the dude looks.
Well,
no.
No, he was put back together by I think,
the TOS version of Zephyr Cochrane is this big, hulking, handsome dude.
okay. There is okay. I look at when they recast characters like Batman, James Bond. They don't all look alike, but it's the same character.
They actually explain it. I think they kind of explain what happened though. Is that
That's
he
why they
got
don't
found and
recognize
he got rejuvenated.
Yeah, and they don't recognize him because of it.
I understand that the creature de-aged him. I'm just saying the body type is different, very different.
Okay, so I mean, so visually it contradicts itself. Well, I mean, but when you talk
they
about
contradict themselves on how many wars there were, which ones were which. I mean, they contradict
it's true.
themselves all the time in Star Trek. And
James
then
P. Kirk.
you've got the Voyager episode where they go back to the 20th century and there's no signs of any of the stuff they've talked about.
Oh, well, even better, the Voyager episode where they go back to the beginning of Undiscovered Country, and what's his name dies. Valtine dies, even though at the end of Undiscovered Country, he's standing right there on screen, 3 people away from Sulu.
Yeah,
And now,
but that one could be argued that Tuvok's memory was not perfect on that.
okay, either way, this has popped up that the films may not coincide exactly with canon in this TV series. It's all kinds of stupid. But either way, the recasting of a character and the character's looks, while it might be jarring and stuff, it doesn't bother me the same way. I mean, Wolfie, it does bother you. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I wouldn't even say it bothers you.
I'm not like insanely picky about it, but
I think it's bad that you don't like it, and we're going to sell you a car.
Yeah, no.
I do think my issue with it more, I guess, is the difference in attitude that you see.
True.
Of Zephyr Cochrane from TOS versus Zephyr Cochrane in First Contact. And granted, some of that could be explained by him being much older and then living on this planetoid or whatever. But I don't know. It's just weird.
Now, when it comes to Solo and the recasting, I know they told him not to do a Harrison Ford impression, kind of like Chris Pine was told not to do a William Shatner impression. And it was like, don't, whatever you do, just whatever. If you're thinking about doing that, don't do that. Do your own thing.
To be fair, though, Chris Pine did manage to channel Captain Kirk, especially in that first film. There's moments you can just feel it. It's definitely the same speech pattern and everything.
And I'm sure that Alden, was it Enric? What's his name? Dear Lord, I can't get his name right.
Heinrich or something. I don't know.
From what I've seen, he's got a smirk. He seems to have the swagger down enough. We'll see. Again, I mean, I'm not going to poo-poo him for not looking exactly like Harrison Ford or sounding exactly like it. That would be a big one for me. He doesn't sound like Ford at all.
Like I said, I'm not entirely against it, and I enjoyed. Was it? Oh God, I just forgot what's his name's name.
Chris Pine?
No, the guy that played in First Contact.
Oh, James Cromwell.
Yeah, I enjoyed him in First Contact. I thought he was very good. No, Pine, I will say his Kirk is a lot more smarmy at times.
Yes. And you know what's really, really, when you really think about someone not taking a character and making it their own, yet being that character, Zachary Quinto had the issue in the Star Trek reboot that he actually had to play on screen with Leonard Nimoy. So it's like, whereas Chris Pine didn't have to play against the originator of the character and was able to do his own thing, Quinto had to play Spock with Spock right there.
Yeah, but it still is a different Spock because, you know, he's dating Uhura and all that.
Yeah, but he still did a good job of being Spock without doing a Leonard Nimoy impression.
Yeah, I mean, he was a Vulcan. That's really what it was to it. He played as a Vulcan who could sometimes be a little emotional.
Speaking of casting, where they cast somebody that does look a lot like the original actor, the guy playing Pike next season. I know
Oh
we
yeah,
discussed this, but he looks really close.
he his jaw's a little more square, but and yeah, it's good casting, and I really am fingers crossed that they're not going to pull the Spock is missing card, because that's going to be such a cop out.
That's what everybody's leaning towards right now.
Such a cop out.
Side note, though, since you did bring up about, with Cochrane and whatnot, in the case of at least Star Trek, how many decades were between TOS and First Contact versus in the case of Solo, where you have all this material and it all has a similar look and feel and all that. You haven't. I think it's more jarring with the Star Trek side of things than it is with the Star Wars side of things.
Because the world around them doesn't change.
Yeah, whereas you can clearly see the TOS era, as much as we love the TOS Connie and bridge and all that, very cardboard-esque. It definitely looks very different versus, I mean, even the clean Falcon, it's still the Falcon.
Yeah. I don't understand. How'd you get here? Well, this creature brought me here. No, I mean to this cardboard set.
Honestly, the piece of Star Trek that stands out most for me in terms of design aspects as being out of place is the motion picture.
Well, the other thing that what I was getting at is the fact that they were creating it from scratch with TOS, and by the time they get to, First Contact, they've had quite a lot of time of, building up and whatnot. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of contradiction with TOS because a lot of stuff in TOS, let's face it, was kind of crap. So they had to correct or adjust or whatnot, or just in order to make for a better story to go on the screen. Whereas again, with the Star Wars stuff, it seems to be pretty tight, more tighter.
Well, yeah,
they knew exactly where they were going with it, and they've had George Lucas be able to set it up and work with it. And Harrison Ford, played it, fantastically. And now we've got the new film, which is going to tie into that. I don't know. I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm not going to disagree, though, that the guy who's playing as Solo just, I don't know, he just doesn't seem to look the part. But I'm willing to give it a chance. We'll see how he does. Maybe he's going to knock it out of the park.
You know what my biggest thing is? That it's going to make me go and cringe with the Solo stuff. New Falcon, I actually really love the new look of the new Falcon. It really has grown on me immensely. And just Lando in general is, yes, I want the movie to be all about Lando. But when I heard Mark Hamill let it slip that Anthony Daniels is the only actor to have been in every Star Wars movie. And when they asked him about that, he goes, "Oh yeah, he was in the original trilogy. He was in the prequel trilogy. He's in all our movies. He was in Rogue One. He's going to be in Solo." And then he let that slip. And I'm like, well, how the heck are they going to have C-3PO in Solo? That if they shoehorn him into Solo somehow, it's going to make me go, really?
Maybe he's not playing C-3PO.
I'd be fine if it was just Anthony Daniels.
It's Anthony Daniels playing as the guy who tries to sell him death sticks and then gets shot.
And he'd be wearing a bright gold lame, just shiny suit.
Would you like to buy some death sticks?
They could always just have him play another series protocol droid too.
True.
I mean, those were pretty common.
Yes. And I think the look of Star Wars helps with the whole stagnant technological advancement that has been rampant through that universe. Whereas everything 10,000 years ago got to a certain point and stopped. It has gone no further.
Well, they've had no reason to really have it go further. Whereas in the case of like Star Trek, they have that driving force and that's probably the key difference right there, is that driving force to explore, to see more. Yeah, we could send drones out to find things, but it's much better if we go out and do it ourselves. We must explore. We must find more of this stuff. See what we can learn from this. Whereas in Star Wars, yeah, they have explorers and such, but then it's just not the driving force behind it. It's
no pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. It's just
exploration
is done for the purposes of economics and things like that. They don't do it for the sake to explore. They don't do it just for it.
In the EU, the suggestion is that exploring beyond a certain point is dangerous. You're just going to disappear.
There's a very good chance of that, yes, because hyperspace routes don't exist.
Superstition.
No, not superstition. It's just it's dangerous to try to blaze new hyperspace routes.
Well, not even just that. There's so many unknown races out there, like the Chiss and all these other races.
Watch your mouth.
You watch your language.
What kind of band was the? What kind of music was that? Don't say it. Don't say it. I wonder if Lucas knew what that word meant when he named the music that Max Rebo and his band play.
Who knows?
Why are you so afraid to say it?
Because, we haven't really, we said a couple of things. I don't know. It's just, jizz is just not a word I think that they would have. It's like, George, you can't call it that. Why not? I'm George Lucas. I can do whatever I want.
I'm not so sure that was a slang at the time when he first did that film.
I don't know, dude. I think that word's been around a long time.
The word probably has been around, but it's like other words. They've been repurposed. Like,
very relevant to this earlier today, actually. Marvel's been around long enough where straight dick. I'm sorry, straight dick used to be straight talk. Solid dick used to be straight talk, that's it.
Yeah, and having a boner.
Another example, though, is with Bugs Bunny.
I've heard that straight dick or solid dick thing is not true, that's a completely edited panel.
Well, the one that is true is in regards to like phrases that Bugs Bunny used, in referencing Elmer Fudd's dubious hunting qualities. And I can't think of what the phrase that he used specifically off the top of my head, but Nimrod. It changed because of the way it was
Bunny changed the definition of Nimrod.
Yeah, it changed it from being what it was, which actually was kind of more complimentary, into not complimentary at all.
Nimrod is a biblical hunter. He was a great hunter, in fact.
Yes, actually.
And Elmer, of course, sucks at being a hunter.
Fluffy is right. The solid dick thing is completely fake. Damn you, internets!
You know what, though? There are quite a few old comic books that have phrases that, if you said them out loud today, would make people chuckle or blush or stuff. I mean, there are old phrases that, due to modern slang and the way people have changed the word and the meaning of the word, and society itself, that we just don't do. I don't hear too many people, aside from Ronald Reagan 30 years ago, whatever it was, using the term boner as a mess up.
No.
When you pull a boner, it was, oh man, you really screwed up big time. You pull a boner nowadays and you're going to get
Isn't
trouble.
there an entire Batman issue about
Joker's boner
trying to get Batman to pull his boner?
Yes.
Boner.
Yes, and you could not run that issue today. I mean, it's out there. I mean, you can get the omnibuses and stuff that have it in there, and it was just the way it was just a phrase back then to pull a boner. Heck, there was a character named Boner on Growing Pain. Why they called him Boner was never really explained.
We don't want to get into that.
But yeah, you can't pull a boner nowadays.
Well, you could, just you don't want to get caught at it?
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely not be on like comic.com, it'd be more like on Pornhub.
Right. Yeah, it's just, there are definitely things you just can't say, and it just changes over time. And so, yeah,
What
that's
the griff.
definitely a given. You know what's one phrase that well, actually that's just nice. That Star Wars thing. It won't become majorly popular.
What, Criff?
Criff this.
That was in. Was it one of the? What was that? I just saw that. I heard it. It was out loud.
Oh, Criff this.
Was it on? No, it wasn't Rebels. Where did I hear it?
Well, you ponder that, and I'll just quickly finish my anecdote here.
Go ahead.
A phrase that you don't hear anymore, which apparently was common back in the day, is, "Oh, he's a real dish," or "she's a real dish." And it was, my mom was explaining that one to me. I was like, I had to look at her. I was like, "What?" Yeah, that was the way you would refer to them. It's just, he was a real dish, and I had to think about it. I was like, "Oh my God, you guys are horrible," because it basically means you just want to eat them.
Yes.
Now we're just a bit more blatant about it.
It sounds so innocent when you think about it. Oh, she was a real dick. And when they say, it's like, oh, no big deal. When you put it into the terms in which it's being used, yeah, it's kind of...
Yeah, once you think about it, it's like, holy crap.
Very interesting. I cannot remember. Maybe it was in one of the comics or something. I don't know. I could have sworn I heard it out loud, and I was very amazed that it got thrown in the right use. And I was like, oh! I do believe the term was criffing as an adjective. A describer of another thing. I know Carabast has become a big thing in Star Wars now.
Yeah, that was definitely from Rebels.
Got thrown into Rogue One. It's all over the books. Oh, yeah. But the little alien lizard lake creature on Scarif, when the troopers arrive and it really starts getting bad, he screams out Carabast.
Oh, I must have missed that.
I mean, he screams it out too because they're getting overrun. He's like, Carabast! And starts running away.
Oh, maybe I thought he was... Carabast, no! Which changes the nature of
in that, I mean, we've talked about that before, like frack and smurf and all the words that have been thrown in that could be used as a swear word without swearing. I did not realize. Smurfers. Yes. Smurf you. Smurfed her right in the parking lot. No smurfing way. The term frack, which I always thought was invented for new BSG, because it's on Netflix? No, I actually own it. I have it. I was watching the original Battlestar Galactica, and while Feldercarb, which come to find out in new BSG, according to the comic books, is just a toothpaste in new BSG. In the old, Feldercarb was a swear word, but frack was also used a couple of times in the original show. In the actual original movie, I was like, oh, well, I thought they made it up, and there it is right there. Starbuck uses it twice.
No. Go figure.
Let's see. Yeah, you're right. It was Paodok Draba Takat said it during the Battle of Scarif, said Carabast.
Carabast. Feldercarb. It's a toothpaste. That's actually a pretty good book.
Well, you got South Park saying microb as a curse word.
Then, what was it? Family Guy invented one that has never been said since because they were told they can't use it again. Kleeman.
Kleeman?
That just sounds so wrong. I don't know why.
It came out. It was on one of their news things where Tom Tucker was like, "We'll talk about the new swear word, Kleeman," and that was the one and only time it was used on Family Guy. And McFarlane has actually been told he's not allowed to use the word. It was on the inside of the actor's studio. He was very impressed. He goes, "We invented a swear word."
I don't even know what's in reference to.
Nobody does. It just sounds so gross.
Really? It sounds like you're cleaning.
CLE MEN, Kleeman.
I
I,
believe it's CLEEMAN.
Oh, okay.
I'm not getting it, and I guess Firefly
Mhm.
isn't either.
Yeah, they invented a swear word.
Unless it's supposed to be just, a different way of saying semen.
No, I don't. They never gave an explanation as to what it meant. It was just a word, and I guess the Fox censor said you get that once.
Maybe they're just messing with him, which I wouldn't put it past him. Oh, and Alistair just dropped in our little internal chat thing about Fortnite. Yes, so I do have a
I
story
forgot
about
that. Yes.
Yeah, got a coworker who actually did that. So here's the thing: the editors and whatnot for Infinity War love playing Fortnite during breaks when they were done, whatever. And like, it would be cool because Thanos is going to have the Infinity Gauntlet. He can just break reality. We should see if we can get some of these characters onto Fortnite. So they reached out to the CEO of Epic Games, and he loves MCU apparently. And he said, "Hell yeah, let's do it!" And lo and behold, Thanos appears in Fortnite, or did yesterday. And my coworker explained how it works. So Thanos will just appear, or the gauntlet will just appear, I should say, within a circle range on the map, and you have to get to it as quickly as you can. You can kill other players on the way there. You don't have to, but you can. And the moment you grab the gauntlet and put it on, you become Thanos, and you just go wrecking everything in sight. And if you die, you get to spectate, but somebody else can then become Thanos. And apparently the powers he has available to him through the gauntlet are pretty potent. Like when you become Thanos, you will literally fall from the sky and land on the ground. And you can do like a power punch where you will punch into the ground like Iron Man does in the posters.
Superhero landing.
Yep, the superhero landing. You can destroy buildings. You can do a power jump. There's also like a power blast you can do. There's quite a few different things you can do. And he's pretty beefy. I guess your character normally has like 100 shield, 100 health. He has 200 shield, 800 health. So it takes a bit to kill him. My coworker managed to. The first time he didn't kill him. Second time around, he did pretty good. But the second time around, he got wiped out, and he was watching for a while to kind of see for guys who were Thanos how they do it, because it's Thanos' job to make sure that he doesn't die, obviously. And the third time around, I should say, he dropped in a good spot. He killed the nearest guy to him, and then just plinked Thanos as he was trying to jump to him and get to him. Took the gauntlet and proceeded to wreck everything. And he just barely survived and won as Thanos, because the last guy that he was fighting apparently was doing really good. But he managed to defeat him with 12 health left. So apparently it was quite the event.
I have a new favorite fake cuss word.
We've moved on, man.
Oh no, it's good. You can bring it up.
It's from Hugh Laurie and Stephen Fry's old British sketch comedy show, and it's cloth prunker, which is an illicit practice in which one person frangulates another's slimp and gratifies the other person by smuctating them avially.
Smuctating?
Smuctating.
It's just made up words strung together, basically. But cloth prunker just sounds so weird and funny.
I did gagoogity that girl like a schmiggled her gaflavity with my googas.
Someone Firefly apparently knows more about Fortnite. Thanos cannot use weapons and equipment. He never heals. He can only regain shield via kills. And there's a good chance that they'll probably bring him back for the second Infinity War film.
I just think it's hilarious that John Wick is just a character in that game.
Because John Wick is awesome.
And now we can act out that Thanos versus John Wick comic.
Just bring a dog. They need to put Agent Coulson in that game.
In Fortnite?
Yes, just give him a bag of flour. I'm going to have to buy this game, aren't I?
Fortnite, the Battle Royale thing is free.
Oh.
Yeah, but you can't change your character look and everything unless you get the paid version.
I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, next time around, we should talk about Alistair's trials and tribulations in Battletech.
We will definitely talk about it.
When the game cheats, I cheat back.
And boy, apparently that game cheats.
Well, boys, we got 5 minutes left to go. I'm calling last call.
Well, my last call, I don't know if I mentioned about it before. I think I did. Street Fighter, the miniatures game. The Kickstarter's over, and it was amazingly successful. They got over $2 million for their $400,000 goal. All stretch goals were unlocked.
Excellent.
That's 13 miniatures on top of the 6 that you already get, plus the 2 that you're going to get for the boss expansion.
Fully licensed.
It is licensed. None of the figures are going to be sold at retail, though. It's only through this Kickstarter. Unless the license gets, renegotiated. I'm going to have so many miniatures on this.
Are they pre-painted, or do you got to paint them?
They are painted. They will be painted for you. They're collectible quality level. So if you don't want to even play the game, you can just set them up wherever you want.
How do they look? I mean, I got to go look. I haven't even looked at the character.
How do they look?
How do they look?
You keep breaking up, man.
How do they look?
They look fantastic, honestly.
I'm going to have to go take a look at it. Let's see. My last call. We will get to be excellent to each other one more time. Bill and Ted's 3 is now officially a go. It's only been 20 years.
27, was it?
Either way, it's been a long time. Since 2010, when they started writing the script for the third film, Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves have always been behind it. They've always wanted to do it again. I guess just judging, but I follow Alex Winter on Facebook. I'm guessing that they stayed friends. And the only reason they got cast in the film, according to the guys who directed the first one, was when they were doing auditions because they would bring them in and they'd have them work against other characters and other actors and stuff like that. Whenever they would go back out to call in another set of guys to come in and play the characters, Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves were always sitting there just BSing in the corner and talking and having fun, and they ended up winning the roles because of their rapport. I guess 27 years, they've maintained a friendship. They've wanted to keep going at it and do the third film. Scripts were never great. It fell apart here and there. They've been talking about this for a long time. 2010, I guess a couple of guys started writing the film seriously and trying to get it off the ground. I guess they finalized the script. Alex Winter has been keeping people up to date on what he's been doing, as well as Bill and Ted 3, where that was going to go. And now it has been officially greenlit. It is a go, and we will get a third Bill and Ted's movie
This fall.
Excellent.
You think you think they're going to be a little bit more jaded, a little more cynical? And,
No.
Man, maybe one of them will have a gun and no, don't mess with his dog.
No, from what I gather, from what they said of the synopsis, is that they are middle-aged men who, while they have stayed together as a band, they have been writing songs for decades, yet they have not written the one song that will unite humanity yet. And they're frustrated. They have to deal with family life. They've got kids, the wives, and all this kind of stuff. And I guess they have to go bounding through time one more time because of someone from the future. Unfortunately, George Carlin has died, and we will not get Rufus back. But unless they do some really, really cool CG, whatever. But I guess that them and their daughters have to go on some high-flying adventure. to fix whatever is wrong. Because I guess the universe is unraveling around them, is what it is.
They gotta get that song then.
Yes.
Oh, there's Tenacious D coming too as well.
I forgot about that. Tenacious D is also getting a sequel. Are they going to have the drumstick of destiny this time?
Well, it was the bong of destiny at the end of the first one, so I don't know what they're gonna do.
I know Mike Myers is given a hard maybe to doing another Austin Powers.
Let it go.
Whatever Tenacious D is going to do, they better do it gently.
It's a song I just wrote 5 minutes ago. It's called Motor.
Anybody else got anything?
Kielbasa sausage, your butt cheeks is warm.
Warning, MechWarrior pilot injury detected.
Excellent.
That's my last call that we'll talk about next week.
We'll talk about it next week. All right, we'll be back next week.
Oh, we won't. It could go either way.
Yeah. It wasn't a threat or anything. It was just a statement.
It was a threat. I was totally threatening you. We are going to be back.
Dun, 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 dun,
I don't make threats. It's a promise.
dun, 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 dun. But, oh yeah, I forgot. Terminator 5 is a go-to. But, or Terminator 6, or whatever they're up to now. Yeah, we'll be back next week. Say goodnight, don't say goodnight, I don't care. I'm about to hit the button.
Okay.
Later.
Shazbot.
No fart noises.
Shazbot.